Well, hello, this is going to be a wonderful trip. If you want to be introduced to the Yorkshire Dales and this sort of area, then it's absolutely fantastic. So just show you where we're meeting. We're between really the Forest of Bowland, the Yorkshire Dales, and then you've got the Lake District off there to the west, and to the east you've got towns like Harrogate, York, Leeds, Bradford, and we're right on that boundary there, not far from Settle and other places. So we are going to start just outside Settle, and then we work our way along the bottom half. It's a figure of 8 that we'll be doing. Work our way up to Clapham, and then from Clapham across to High Bentham, up to Ingleton, back to Clapham, where you'll find some nice coffees and teas at Paul's Pedals, and then out to Orstwick, and then round, and we're on the hill above Stainforth and Giggleswick and Settle, and then we head back to the beginning. It's a wonderful route. It's about 48 to 50k depending on how you do it. There's only about 630 metres of climb. None of it is particularly severe, just about all on road, and there's plenty of toilets at places like Clapham and some of the bigger towns, Ingleton and Settle. You get away with almost any cycle type, and there's not really that much traffic until you get nearer to the larger towns. And the only hazard we encountered was just outside Settle, Giggleswick, where they'd closed off one of the roads. But other than that, really easy. If you look at the slopes, most of it is in the second half. That is the right hand loop there. Now it would be really helpful if you could like this video and subscribe. We are the Tandem channel, and our aim is to make routes that you would really enjoy riding, and also to record them so that you can see any of the hazards or pitfalls that you might encounter, and it enables you to then make really good choices as to what sort of ride is suitable for you and your family. We've got them all across the country, and we just hope that you would enjoy it. So leave a like and subscribe. Maybe we'll even get to the point where we'll do a ride near you. So we're going to start in a little lay-by just outside Giggleswick. So here we go, and you can see that this bit is, although it's undulating, that we really aren't tackling any really big slopes. The road surface is pretty good, but you have to stay away from the curbside, as that can get a little bit slippery as the mud works its way down. So there we are at the bottom of the screen. You can see we're heading west, and we're going to be really working our way round to Clapham that way. Now there are a couple little journeys, alternate routes that you can see a bit later on, but we're going to just follow this side road. Really, it's you can see there's no white lines, and at one point we get to cross the railway about 3 or 4 times. It had been raining, the puddles were not too bad, but it was quite cold, so I apologise for any rain we get on the camera, and if it doesn't appear to be going as fast as we should do. We're Paul and Diane on the Tandem. We've got loads of routes like this, and we would recommend that you subscribe to this channel. So here we go, we're just going around past underneath one of the railway bridges, and we're now going to turn hard right. Now we're heading up towards Clapham, and you'll find that as we get towards Clapham that the traffic does pick up a little bit, but to be honest there's very, very little of it. So we're going to come right into the middle of the town here and crossing over that main road, which is a little bit tricky, and we stopped here. We went to the town. Now you've got toilets in the park, that's the toilets there, which are not bad, but here we are at Paul's Pedal. Now this is a bike shop that's present in Clapham, and they're really friendly, really helpful. A lot of people showing up, about plenty of space, things to buy. We picked up a water bottle because we'd forgotten ours, and wonderful coffee, really well served, and I would recommend it as a coffee shop and a coffee stop. Great looking cakes, but we're on a diabetic diet, so we have to be a bit careful. So thank you Paul's Pedals for a wonderful stop, and we will recommend you whenever we possibly can, because you were amazing. But here we are heading out from Clapham, and we're now heading towards High Bentham. Now, to begin with, this road is a little bit busy, or it can be busy, but you can see there's not really that much on it, but it has the potential. It's a bit of a larger road, and really the main problem is people are going quite fast. Now, it won't be long before we actually leave this main road, so we're heading up onto the top of the plain here. So we're rising up. You'll see that there's double white lines in the centre, and that will encourage people to slow down. But as we get nearer to High Bentham, you will find that the road suddenly gets a little bit smaller and a little bit quieter. So we're now going to turn right onto Windy Hill, and you'll soon see that. And what you find about Windy Hill is it is incredibly quiet. So we rise up, and there is a bit of a climb here, but there's almost no traffic, and the road quality is really, really good. But the wind does whip across from the side, so do be careful, because if there are cars passing. Now, we got to this point and they've been doing a lot of digging, and we now hit where the road was closed. They allowed us to walk past, but the road was shut at this point for vehicles, and you can see now there's just thick mud across the road, but that's not a hazard that most of you will encounter. It was the one due to the work that's going on. And now we've made our way into Ingleton, and you will see that Ingleton's a fabulous little place to go and visit. It's really busy. There's loads of places to eat, loads of places to stop, and we had a bit of a look around, but we like to carry on through. So once in Ingleton, you really want to pass through and head towards the old Clapham Road. So we take on the High Street, and it is a bit of a negotiation because there's lots of roads all over the place, but if you follow the GPS that we give you, that'll be fine. Now, you can drop down to get down to the lower part, and you might be able to see that from the map. There is a road that goes down and then it comes back up again just back there, but it's really, really steep, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. So here we are popping out on the High Street, and we're going to head off into Old Clapham Road, or Old Road as it is on some of the maps. Now, this bit is quite remote, and it's really lovely actually. We quite enjoyed cycling along this bit. It was very quiet. It's not really in either of the Bowland Forest or the Yorkshire Dales. It's sort of on the edge, really, in the middle of nowhere, but it is beautiful, and it is definitely worth taking the time to look around there. So don't feel bad about stopping, having a little look. Wonderful wildlife, you know, different birds if you're into that sort of thing, into insects, loads of them all on the side. Not intensive agriculture. So we head along this road. There's a bit of descent as we head in the final bit back down to Clapham, and occasionally you'll get motorbikes going past, but very, very few people are actually using this bit of road. And you can see we can look down on the town, and as we get towards the top here, it was actually a little bit misty, and certainly the rain picked up, which is something that is really a bit of a hazard that you're going to have every time you go into the Yorkshire Dales or around here. So we're now descending back into Clapham, and we just stopped there for a few minutes and then headed our way back out. Now we're heading towards Austwick, or Ostwick, and that is the looping road that goes round towards Stainforth. Now we've got to be a little bit careful that we don't end up crossing the river, so we're going to stay on the high ground. It's a bit of a cycle path here beside the busy bit of road, and then that keeps us on this quiet little back road. But again, although it's got white line, it's not really that busy. So here we go through Austwick, and then we turn left, and we're heading out into absolutely nowhere really. Again, it can be a bit windy, but the surface is excellent. There haven't really been any places that are thwarted by potholes or other things like that. Usually it's just a farmer with a trailer that is parked halfway across the road because he can't get into his gates. There you go, there's one. But very few cars. This is really pretty. We stopped here because we were looking at the rainbow. Don't think you can see it particularly from the video there, but there was a wonderful rainbow over the top, and the sun did come out, and when the sun does shine it is absolutely spectacular. We love the dry stone walls. We were here in April where the sheep were. Now we're just heading towards really that bit of towards Stainforth, and we're going to turn right at this little crossroads here. So it doesn't look necessarily like a crossroads on the map, but we want to head up this hard right turn, and this is where the road again goes very quiet because it's the high road, probably not used that much, and we're going to head over the top of the hill, and this is one of our big ascents. It just seems to go on. It's not steep, but it does go on a little bit. We head our way up the hill, and then soon we'll be able to, when we round the corner, see Stainforth down in the valley below. And it's certainly very attractive, and along this part here we get some lovely views of the villages down in the valley along the edge of the river. But as I say, we're staying just above it. We do ascend and descend a few times, and you can see why that road isn't used that much, but you can see it's not a particularly wide road. If a car does eventually come along, it's occupying most of the highway. So we travel through a few farms here, and occasionally actually there were rocks and stones that have fallen off the wall that were on the edge of the road, so you do need to be a little bit careful. But we're just coming up towards the bit where we start to descend into Gilswick, which is really just a suburb of Settle, although they'd probably murder me for saying such a thing. But it is right on the very edge, and here we are. You can see it's a small town, really, part of the town, and we got caught out because we headed off this little road, and you can see from that little map we were intending to cross straight out, but it wouldn't let us. They completely dug it up, and this is really going to go on till about Christmas 25. So we had to turn round, head back and get onto the main road, otherwise we would have missed the road. But the road isn't too bad, so we now head out and we're going to cross the main road and the railway at the same time. And so we're right in the bottom right hand corner of our map now, and we're now heading back up towards our start point. So a little bit of ascent here at the end, but nothing insurmountable. But the sun started to come out after all that time riding in the rain. Then the sun came up, beautiful sky, started to look really wonderful. If some of you are landscape photographers, I'm sure there's plenty of places to find around here because the sky is so vast and there's wonderful things. So back to the car, and that's us done. So if you want to follow the route, then you can see that on our commute page, that's Paul and Diane on the Tandem, that you can easily download our GPX file and see the route. But you can have an explore, and we hope you enjoy the route and leave a message. Particularly, we'd love you to like and subscribe for this video, because we need all the subscribers we can get to encourage us to keep going. Okay, well that's it. The next one, who knows where the next ride is going to be. It could be anywhere in the UK, but until then, bye for now.